everybody, and welcome back to Movie Mama. So I felt a little guilty. I know I trashed the movie TeneT a couple weeks ago, and I feel a little bad about it. So I invited my friend Rachel over. You remember her from a couple of episodes ago, and we watched Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, which in my opinion is his best movie so far. Even better than Inception. Sorry, I know a lot of people have issues with that. But we watched it together and then we reviewed it together, and this is how it went. So Interstellar came out in 2014. It's directed by Christopher Nolan. It stars Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Matt Damon, Jessica Chastain, wait, there's more, Michael Caine, John Lithgow, and that's just like a few. There's so many amazing actors in this movie. And basically what has happened is there's this horrible like dust plight is what they call it, happening inside of the world, and we need to figure out a way to be more sustainable. All our crops are dying. The only thing left is corn, and they have to figure out how to save the planet. And one of those options is to go off the planet and find other sustainable Earths. And that's basically how the movie starts. And the whole saga is about them looking for other planets for us to live off of. So I think the burning question in this movie is how to save humanity. I think that's the big issue. What can they do? So they create these embryos, and they're off-world, and they're going through a black hole. They're abandoning their lives to go find a salvation for us humans. But in some aspects, it seems like a waste of resources and maybe a wasted effort. What do you think?
Well, usually when you have to hide things, it usually means that people don't agree with you or that you're doing something wrong. In this case, for me, it ends up working, so I would say it wasn't wrong to do, but they do have to hide what they're doing in the beginning. But, you know, if that's the only thing that was left to do, and it seemed like it was, because you said corn was the only thing that was right. left to eat, and that's awful.
All the crops are dead in this
All the other
scenario,
crops are dead, and there's dust everywhere. So, I mean, yeah, how to save humanity, because clearly we couldn't do it earlier.
Well, and I do like that they make references back to how the 21st century ruined the planet. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Strong 2020 this year.
Right.
For sure. We're not helping.
We're not doing great. We're on our way.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Would you be happy about 4 people going off to literally into another galaxy looking for another home planet? Like, there's no plan for us to follow.
True.
So are they just going to go with these embryos and start over and screw everybody on Earth?
You know what, though?
Is that okay? I mean, is that morally okay?
The one thing I will say is that, for me personally, if I was at least doing something, that would help me. If there was at least something out there instead of just inhaling all of this dust and slowly dying because of starvation.
Yeah, but you can't go. You have to stay here and inhale dust and die.
Yeah, that's fine, but at least I'm helping.
By inhaling dust and dying.
Because, and then if you don't have someone who's actually doing the work and putting in the effort and giving up their time and essentially sacrificing, because who knows if these guys are going to come back, right? So the only people that are left to make decisions are generally the people...
Smart people.
No, the powerful people. That have the money, that don't care about
and that are not generally smart.
Yes. And they even reference in the movie that like those guys would be the last to die, but they would die eventually.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Why don't you think about that, huh? Why you only think about yourself?
I think the fact that they have to hide it was actually a good move, because how else would they have been able to do what they needed to do?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
even if it doesn't mean living on Earth.
Ethically, morally, like I don't know if any of those are right, but at least they did something.
Some of it kind of goes out the window too. Like morals and ethics are subsets that we put on ourselves. Yes. But now we're facing literal extinction of the human race. Yeah, like okay, well screw you. We're gonna go find quasar number 45.
Yeah.
And try to make it happen with these embryos. And like one girl, I was kind of confused about that. Rachel explained it to me. She's not just going to be on this planet popping out babies. They have a plan. But, you know, those moralities really just kind of go out the window.
Yeah.
They really do.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do? Just let the human race die because of your morals?
And I think Matt Damon's character actually completely characterizes that or personifies that ideal. You know what I mean?
About your survival instincts?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's true.
So, I don't know. I mean, if that's the burning question of this movie,
What
then
are you willing to do to live?
What are you
A
willing
lot.
to do to live? Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
It
that's,
worked out in
that's
this
human
universe.
nature. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
So, what I loved, I'm going to let you go first. What did
Okay.
you love about this movie?
So it was very science heavy, but the way that they explained everything, the way that they had different ways of explaining things also really helped. And the science it seemed spot on. Everything seemed followable, even though like clearly I'm not an astrophysicist or anything like that.
So we really don't know, but it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, the way that they explain how gravity and time interact, and how time moves, and you can only move one direction because time is linear if you follow this theory of relativity. I won't go too far into it because I know half of you fell asleep, but it's really interesting, and if you like science, it's really spot on.
It's spot on, and it's not like an overload of science either. Like they get to action and stuff too. Like it's not just specific, drowsy science. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's not Stephen Hawking just droning on about quantum relativity.
Yeah.
So it's actually really well done.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't like this movie because they're worried about how much science there is, but if you take a minute just to try to really kind of understand what they're saying, it's so good. And on top of the science, which is amazing, there is also a lot of like humanity type stories in there, because I really loved, for me, it was the relationship between Matthew McConaughey character Cooper and his daughter Murph. They love each other through space and time. I mean, that bond is just forever. And how he reaches out to her and how they communicate, and it's intertwined with the science, and it's really quite spectacular, honestly, in my opinion. So I think this movie overall, it has such a good combination of science. There's also kind of the science fiction aspect because they're in space, and then they're like in trouble and stuff is happening,
like,
and
things that we've never seen before, like
Yes.
the black hole. Like they do a really good job about
the
that.
graphics are amazing,
and even like the machines that they're using and the technology.
the
is really
robots are
interesting, too.
cool.
I love the robot, dude.
They're kind of creepy. They're kind of creepy.
kinda.
They are, but they're funny, which is
they're
weird.
fun.
But yeah, no, they're really good. I like that. I liked all of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's a whole much that I didn't like about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not so much. What didn't you like about the movie?
As par to my normal movie reviews, like this movie was really good. There was really no problems I had with it whatsoever, to be honest.
No, I kind of feel the same way. There's not a lot of bad things I can say about this movie. I will tell you, there's a very specific character that I can't stand because he's so bad in it. I'm not going to give it away.
If you make whoever you're watching the movie with shut up, it'll be fine.
We watched the movie together, and she wouldn't let me talk. I had to sit there with my hands under my legs and not make noise, because if not, she wasn't going to watch it with me. So I didn't like that about the movie. But also, I feel like this movie didn't get the respect that it deserves. I think this is a wonderful family movie night movie.
For 6 years.
There's a little bit of violence, and there's a little bit of scary scenes, but it's not because of monsters or anything like that. It's just they're in a scary situation and things are going bad. But other than that, there's no cussing really. It's about families and what you have to do for your family and what you're willing to sacrifice for your children, humanity, and overall. So I feel like they did a disservice to this movie by not giving it enough hype. I think us nerdy types really love this movie and we all watched it. But people who aren't prone to watching science fiction movies didn't watch it. And it's not science fiction. It's actually science kind of fact. They play with science fiction in such a factual way.
Yeah.
And I think if you watch this as a family, you can have a great conversation afterwards. Like, what would you do in this situation? Why would you do it in this situation? So for me, this is a 100% family movie night. Let's have a conversation about it afterwards movie. I think it's spectacular. All right, who wants to watch this movie?
I don't know, man. This is your show.
See what I'm working with? I think that the people who would want to watch this, who generally watch this movie, are people who like science, people who like astrophysics, people who are interested in that kind of
Or
stuff.
who like Matthew McConaughey.
Or Matthew McConaughey.
Yep.
Matt Damon's in it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of heavy
Anne
hitters
Hathaway.
in this. Anne Hathaway's in it. They're all excellent in this movie, by the way. But I think this movie should be one of those, everybody watches it. Kind of like Contact. It is such a great definition of human nature. Like, what are we willing to do for each other? Not in a selfish way. Because at this point, it doesn't matter if you're rich, you're poor, you're black, you're white, you're purple. It doesn't matter. Because everyone is going to run out of food. And eventually, they're not going to be able to breathe. So as a team, we need to figure it out. And I think if we could get on that boat now, maybe we'd be better off. Just a thought. So I think this movie is for everybody. If you've got kids who are 10 and up, I highly recommend watching it with them. Help them understand. There's a lot of demographics out there, like Instagraphics. What are they called? The pictures where it shows you.
Informational graphics.
That's the thing that I'm trying to say. That show what is happening in the movie, and you can like just look them up and follow along and understand why they're doing what they're doing and what is happening with the time and the gravity in the movie. So I think this movie's for everyone. It really is. Go rent it. It's $4 if you have Prime, and I'm pretty sure you can rent it for about the same on YouTube. All right, what was the moral of the story?
You ask me every time, and generally I always have to think of an answer on the spot. And this time, for this movie, Interstellar, I honestly, I don't know what the moral of the story is.
I think this was
Try.
Stay.
Stay.
But if he had stayed.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Try.
So I think you're right. I think they had to do whatever they could. You know, if you're a parent, you understand. You will do anything for your kids. They talk about those stories where mom lifted a car off her kid. I would 100% lift that car if I had to. You find the strength, you find the will, you find the way to save your children. And now it's not just your children, it's all of our children.
And
so
all the future children.
And everything that we've had, all our fighting, all our wars, all our happy times, all our love, it goes to nothing if we don't save ourselves.
And our internet too. Think about that.
Yeah.
What would we do without that?
I don't know. I wouldn't be doing the show.
Yeah.
Internet. The moral of the story is the internet. No, I think, it just shows you what we're capable of if we really try, and we do it with love and compassion instead of greed and hate and all the other baloney that people have reasons to do things nowadays. So again, watch it with your kids. This is just a fantastic movie, and there is a moral, and that's something that you could talk about too afterwards. Like, what do your kids see in it? What do your kids think about it? It's a great family movie. I'm just going to say that again. Okay, so that's our review for Interstellar. I think you've got 2 very big thumbs up. We really loved it. If you have a chance, highly look it up. Definitely look at the science behind it. This is a great family movie, and we'll be back again soon. Bye, everybody.